Good evening, everyone. Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Cyrus Webb is my guest today. Hopefully, he doesn't run away, but I think he'll be here. Um, Also, we have some events coming up. I wanted to get on a little earlier and let you guys know what we have coming up. Last time we spoke with author Suzette Perkins, and we did her book titled Fallen Leaves on December 17th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will talk about her book. Here it is, Black Diamond. And this is Gypsy Shellingford. You will hear more about her government name, Reese. You'll hear her being referred to as Reese if you want to say her government name. And we cannot wait to get back in this story. You'll see some Lemonade and Amina and different characters come back into this book. And it leads a segue to a third book. You guys stay tuned for that. Again, I'll show that book not so quickly, but here it is, Black Diamond. You guys go out and get it just in time for our event on the 17th. And then we'll also, toward the end of the month, we'll have April Thomas. Her book is Toxic, the Double Cross. And here is her book. Here, she will be our last show for this month. And her show will probably run into January as well. We'll do a 3-day show with her. Cannot wait. April Thomas. Let's see. I got a book right there. Yeah. April Thomas. And again, we will have Cyrus Webb. And many of you probably know him. I don't think nobody not know who he is. But anyway, he's going to get me. I may just try to get him in here a little early if you can. I didn't see if he's around. He's probably looking at this. We'll see. That way, he won't have to run away. He's gonna get me when he comes on. Let's see if he's out there. Do swipe and share, guys. Again, Cyrus Webb is my guest today. Cannot wait to speak with him. I'm going to share with others. He'll get me probably on screen. We'll see. Um, it's supposed to be good, so we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. And I am looking forward to this conversation. Let's see. I'll share it to others that are out there. Again, thank you guys for being here. Just doing some sharing right now. Okay. We'll just wait. Know that I am on early. Let's see. Getting some people on here. Let's see. He's probably having problems with his Android phone. He'll get me for that. Let's see. Let's see if I can get him here. Let's see. Cyrus, I'll see you in a bit. I know I'm super early. I'm trying to catch you before you run away. Catch you before you run away, Cyrus. Again, Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Super excited to have Cyrus Webb joining me today on this channel. I've been on his top 20 twice. He said there was a third one, but I don't know what his title. I haven't seen that. I know we were on there. We were on screen. I had a couple of guests on, but I don't think that was titled Top 20. Maybe it was, but I don't know. where that footage is. We'll see. We'll see. And he'll be joining me again. For those who coming on, do share, swipe, and share. I am excited about this moment. Um, all right. About this moment in time um, with Cyrus Webb, and he's in the hot seat now. I'm on the other side, so I'll try to be good. I'll try to be good, guys. And yes, this is going on air, and just looking forward to a good time. Cyrus, I've followed him quite a bit. He might have not known I was following him. It was I've been doing this about 17 years, almost 18, I believe, and I really enjoy this and see Cyrus on screen different times, and it has been amazing. And to see someone um, as you see the books that I've read, he read as well. And between us, we sometimes host the same authors. And I really like that. I really like the fact that I get to see some of those same authors that was on my side. So I don't know. I'm going to wait just a little bit. Just had to come on early, remember, just in case Cyrus run away. He's going to get me. He's going to get me. And we'll see him in a bit. We do have a different time zone, and I am loving this moment. For those who replay or just come on, again, Suzette Perkins is going to be next week author. I'm going to put this book up here again, Black Diamond. OMG. See. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is such a good book. A whole bunch of emotions. You guys will go through a whole lot of emotions. Just get ready for it. She have her first book. Well, yeah, the first book on this one is Fallen Leaves. And you guys want to do that and you'll see. I guess I think you should read it, the Fallen Leaves, first before you read that one. And that way you'll know the characters and where they come in. Because when she gets right into Black Diamond, she just start talking. There's a wedding and things are going forward. Gypsy getting married, and it's a lot of things that happen. You'll hear about her sister Taylor, and it is just an amazing ride. But you will go through a lot of emotions. Let's see, I'm gonna try this again. I'm on early because I wanted to make sure I get those things out the way. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully I got that right. Okay. Now, Cyrus, I hope that your Android can pick that up. And I always talk about my iPhone. The absolute best, guys. The absolute best. And this is just, this is going to be fun. It is going to be fun to have Cyrus on the other side and at my house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I hope that you guys are having a wonderful holiday. I know that some people, this is not good for them, and some has lost loved ones during this season. And hopefully you guys are having a good time as best as you can, as best as you can, and enjoy the holidays. Okay, I'm not sure what is happening, but I'm sure things will happen. So, Cyrus, I'll see you in a moment, in a moment's time. I'll talk a little bit about our business again. ESP presents is the business side. We've been around for both of them at the same time, about 17 years. We've started out first hosting authors at events, hotels, and we would do it pretty much 2 or 3 times a month, I believe, at our local area here in Newport News, Moreberry Inn. And we were just a regular there, and it was awesome to see authors come from out of town. We did do a, um, what do you call it? An event where oh, hey, come on in. I guess you're having problems with your Android. Come on in. Come on in the room. I guess your Android couldn't catch up with my iPhone. Be nice, Cyrus. Come on in nice.
Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents. How you doing?
I'm good. Do you have a gray shirt on?
No.
It looks great from my end.
Okay. No, I don't. Hello, Ellen. How you doing? Thank you so much for the invite.
You are so welcome. Don't try to rush this alone.
What do you mean? Speaking of rushing, who sent me an invite 15 minutes before the show was supposed to start?
I know, because I wanted to hurry up. I said, you know what? Cyrus is probably doing something else. I said, I know he may or may not see that, but his Android will probably have some problems or something like that.
Ma'am, I'm multifaceted. I'm on my iPhone right now. Thank you very much.
Ooh! Are you set tripping? Are you set tripping with your Android?
No. I'm able to live in both worlds. I have an iPhone as well as I have Android. I'm a person of the people, Ellen.
I don't know. Okay, so I really have to say this. The folks are coming in real fast, but I was trying, Cyrus. I was trying to practice in the mirror. Be nice to Cyrus. Don't let him trip you up. Last time on the top 20.
You were the one. I came in, and then you came in, harassing me from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, you know what? That was that other person. That was not me.
Oh, so that wasn't Ellen Sutter. That was ES. Is that what that was? That ES?
See how he turned on me? Oh my goodness, they coming in fast.
Hello, Ro. How you doing?
Everybody there. They are just loving it. So I was gonna do this on YouTube, but I did tell Cyrus this just in case that he say something to me. I'll have witnesses. So let's go on IG. Didn't we discuss that already?
We did, but I'm so glad we're doing it so people can see that you instigated. And I was forced to defend myself because
I'm not. Y'all see what he does. Let's get started, Cyrus. You know what? I was telling the folks before you came, I was nice. Well, no, okay. I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Oh. You just have to see the replay.
There you go.
I couldn't live up to it.
Ellen, there's power in the replay. I will find out.
But Cyrus, I remember, I don't know. I've been watching you for a long time, Cyrus. I don't know. How long have you been doing this? I would say that I've been watching you probably about 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 21 years this year.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, because I must have came on the 19th year of looking at you. And I noticed, I was like, maybe I'm doing something right, because some of the authors that I've host on a small, I wouldn't say small, on a local, like here in Newport News, Virginia, I'm like, I've always thought you was big time. Now I know you're even bigger, big time. Don't go there. Let me give you kudos, like you said. I'm not going to pull the rug from up under you like you did me.
Well, look, that's a very nice thing to say. Young Jody, hello to you. Young Jody, you owe me an interview, by the way, Young Jody. But no, I appreciate the kind words, Ellen. I don't think of myself as being big time, because tomorrow on Fridays, anyone who knows, who lives in Mississippi, no matter what award I get or what I do, if I'm in Mississippi on Fridays, my parents are going to expect me to put out their trash and go to the grocery store for them, so they don't have to go go at the house. So
That's
that so that
wonderful.
so look, that is what keeps me humble,
I
Ellen, is
love
that
it.
every other Friday when I'm home, I know I have to take out the trash in the morning as well as go to the grocery
You know
store.
what? That's good. But I think you're a pretty humble guy because
Well, I
I
appreciate it.
really do. I really do think you are. I wanted you to first pay homage. Hello to everybody that's on here that coming in fast.
Hey,
And
Wendy, good to see you.
I thank you for setting aside time for this. But I want you to first, I have Mississippi roots. My dad is, like I said, from Florence. My mom is from Jackson, Mississippi. Those are my roots. But tell us about your hometown and how did this all get started with you being a content creator and also an author? How did it get started? And tell us about your hometown.
Oh, well, thank you. So it's a very weird story. So I live outside of Jackson in Brandon, Mississippi, and there's no one in my family that does any of the stuff that I do. And I honestly didn't plan on doing any of the stuff I'm doing, to be quite honest with you. I mean, when I was growing up, Ellen, I wanted to write because I enjoyed writing, and I wanted to draw because I love art. So I would tell my family that I want to be an artist and I wanted to be an author. And they would say, "Oh, that's great, but what's going to be your job?"
Oh,
Because from what we understood, and you probably can relate to this,
yes.
people weren't making money writing books or
Mm-mm,
drawing. You know, we all
mm-mm.
heard you got famous after you died, and what good is it to you then? So, but I never had, here's the funny thing, and I tell people, I never had a plan B. That was always
Wow.
what I wanted to do. I always wanted to write and draw. Now, the funny thing is, I would have jobs along the way. I worked at grocery stores, worked at department stores, ended up working in hotels. But I always, even though I had that as my quote unquote full time job, I was always writing and drawing. So when I was working in the hotel business, I would rent out the meeting rooms and have an art show and poetry. You know,
Wow.
and so that was just always my thing. The first time I was in the newspaper, Ellen, was in 1999. That was my first time in the newspaper, and I was putting out flyers, and that's what we did back then. We didn't have the
No,
internet,
we
so I was
didn't.
putting out flyers, and literally the room was full of black, white, young, old, because people have been hearing my name around, and the newspaper came out and covered it. And that was kind of the beginning. So then I got invited to start speaking. And so then I started speaking. So fast forward to 2003, I was a general manager of a hotel. And I'm also a suicide attempt survivor, for those who don't know. And I was sharing my story at an event. And this man walks up to me, Ellen, in 2003. I never will forget the conversation. He says, "I really enjoyed your speech. You have a very nice voice. Have you ever thought about doing radio?" And I said, "No, sir, I have not." He was the owner of a radio station.
Ooh.
And it was Charles Evers, Medgar Evers' brother. He owned the radio station in Jackson. WMPR 90.1 FM is still here. And even though he's passed away, his daughter runs it.
Mm-hmm.
And that began my journey in radio in 2003.
Wow. And it just seemed like it, from just hearing your backdrop that it just started off right away. Because,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you put fly, on my end,
Mm-hmm.
just doing it. Like you said, I do believe people, like when you work for yourself, it wasn't shined on as much back then. So when you
Mm-hmm.
say you're an entrepreneur back then, they like, oh, you don't have a job and you ain't clocking in. You don't have a job unless you clock in
Yeah.
somewhere. So
Yeah.
now you can just do your own clocking, which people may want to be an entrepreneur, but they're not knowing the work. You know.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, Ellen, because, and I love my family. My mom and I were literally having this conversation today because I took my mom to work with me. I had to meet a client because I still do some in-person client meetings. And I was meeting with an author in Pearl, Mississippi, which is the next city over. And I asked my mom, said, "Hey, I got to run out, meet with a client. I'll be gone about an hour. You want to go?" So she always excited to get out the house. So she got out of the car. She got with me. But I bring that up, and I said to her when we were coming back, I said, "Mom, I just want to thank you because you had no idea what I was doing then. You have no idea what I do now." Because she was sitting there thinking, my son does it. It was so funny. And so I said that to say, Ellen, my family had no clue how I was going to make any money doing this. And even today, if you ask them what I do, they don't really have a clear understanding because they're not on social media. So they don't see all the stuff or whatever. But they're very supportive. And I think that makes a big difference. You know, I'm sure it was scary for them when I went full time in 2005 because I then quit my job and this was all I've been doing since then. And so, but they never questioned it. They saw my passion with it, and they saw I kept getting stuff, so they figured I was making money.
But what was that like for you? Like you
Yeah.
said, you started off one way, and then your
Mm-hmm.
full-time job. You know, people tell you if you're writing, because you know I'm going to be writing a book now. They know, and you know I'm definitely going to start writing like really, really soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that backdrop, and like as a reader, I know what a story's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So my story would be more of what it was like in the home with my mom being deaf, but
Mm-hmm.
written into like a storyline. I have
Right.
characters and all that. And so with that being said, what does that look like in saying, okay, I'm here and then I am going to go totally? Because people say, you know, you better get you another gig because you do, let's be honest, you do need something stable to support yourself. So
Yeah.
what did that look like? You know, did you just, you know, quit your job and then just roll with it right away and flew with your wings? How did that look?
Yeah. So my story is a little different, and I tell people I used to be embarrassed by my story because my story is so unlikely. Wendy says support goes a long way. That's so true.
Yes, it's true.
So again, okay, so the timeline was this way, Ellen. I started working on the radio station in 2003. That's when he made me the offer. By 2004, the very next year, I was getting paid offers out of the state to come host things, and you can't do that and have a full-time job,
True.
you know? So I had to make a choice. And I was like, okay, am I just going to go do this thing? Which, remember, radio was never in my plans, by the way. That was never something I thought I would be, doing. But I was like, am I going to have to quit my job? Because it became very obvious I wasn't going to be able to keep doing both the way I was doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm going to have to leave my job. And so that's what I had to do. Now, it was a little more difficult for me in some ways because as a general manager, I lived at the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about then having a place to stay, which I had, family, I had a home, in my hometown. So that worked out. But see, there were a lot of things I had to do to make that change, but I never skipped a beat.
Wow.
And so that's not everyone's story. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. But I think there's also something else to remember, Ellen, about my story. I have always been a small thinker. So that meant I didn't have a lot of overhead. I didn't have a lot of debt, so that helped me. Um, I'm stingy, so that means I wasn't spending a lot of
Let's say
a lot of money.
frugal. Let's use the word frugal.
Oh no, I'm stingy. I'm beyond frugal.
You're stingy. Okay,
I'm
let's go with
stingy.
it.
And so that meant I could live on whatever little I needed to live on to keep things going. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that also helped me. Now, a lot of people are not in that situation. Some people have spouses, they have families, right? So it's different. It was just me. So that made it a lot easier for me to do it. But on the other hand, it's also served me well in that I can do things a lot of people can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can get a call. I'll break some news with you that I haven't announced yet. Ellen, I'll do it on your show. The Critics' Choice Awards nominations were announced today. I received an invitation to cover them in January in Los
Wow.
Angeles. Now, if I had a family, I have to see if little Johnny can, has a game at school, or if my wife, has this. I don't have to worry about any of that. I looked at my calendar and said, okay, yeah, I can do it.
But you said something a second ago, which means that to me, in my ears, you're a minimalist, and it doesn't take much to live off of,
Yeah.
because you knew exactly, and like you said, you're stingy, you knew exactly what to do. And like me, on the other hand, being an entrepreneur I'm not ashamed of this. My husband retired, so everything I do is afforded by my husband retired. He doesn't like me to say that, but I have to be honest because this is not like, and then I work very hard, and this is hard to work with. And then also having clients, it doesn't mean that, you know this too, Cyrus, that you don't count what you're doing. Like somebody wants to have a show with you, don't count that in because it hasn't happened unless it's been paid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
because I used to do things up front and let people pay me later, but now I can't do that because they've gotten advertisement and I haven't gotten money.
Yeah.
And so this is a beautiful thing that people may not know what we're talking about right now and being honest about it. And I love your shows when I see it because you're very honest, but it seems like the yellow brick road was already there for you to shine,
Mm-hmm.
Early because,
Yeah.
like you said, it's not everybody's story. And
Right.
so when did your journey from a content creator author become a successful business?
That's a great question. Hey, Stacy, good to be to see you. So okay, so let me be honest about something else. Success has not been easy for me to deal with, and I can be honest and say I have, when I found myself getting a form of success, I have at times sabotaged myself. And
Mm.
what I mean by that is, as someone who grew up without not a lot, I saw my parents work very hard. We didn't have a savings account when I was growing up. I knew if I needed something from school, Ellen, my parents were going to have to go without something for me to get it.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I grew up not understanding that success was okay. And when I
Mm.
started making money and it was more than the $500 it took to cover my bills, I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be making this money.
Wow.
So I'm being totally real with you. This is
Yeah.
not a joke. And I have to have something else to tell you, to be honest. This mindset didn't change to 5 years ago.
Wow.
So this is something that's still been new for me. So to answer your question, I literally, my close friends will tell you, I write down my bills. My monthly bills are less than $1,000 a month.
Mm.
And I used to say to them, well, I only need to make $1,200 because my bills are only 1,000. I don't need to make
Yeah.
2,000, 3,000. So when a company would come to me and say, "We'll pay you $2,000 to post this," I'm like, "How many times?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Well, when do you need it?" I mean, it's like, I'm like, okay, that's, this money, my relationship with money and success has been very difficult. That's been one of the most difficult things in my life. Ironically, now again, it's not everyone's story, but that's my realness. So I'm so glad you asked that question. It wasn't until 5 years ago that I started becoming comfortable with success. I was successful before then, but
Mhm.
I was not comfortable with it before then because I thought, okay, I don't need to be making, because that wasn't the mindset I grew up in.
Right.
You know, I, I didn't even know what that looked like. You know, so for me, it was always okay. If my family's good, my bills are paid, well, that's all I need. But as
Yeah.
far as success, 5 years ago, and what happened to me 5 years ago, and I've been sharing the story, and you may have seen me post about this, Ellen. I had a meeting with one of Steve Harvey's producers, and they wanted to work with me on a project. And they knew my stats, they knew my all of this stuff, and they said, on paper, you're exactly what we need, but we don't think you can handle this. They literally said that to me. And I said, well, what do you mean? They said, because you run $1 million business like a mom and pop shop. And so they
Woo.
could see exactly what I was doing to myself, that I was stunning my own growth. And some people would have been, dejected by that.
Yeah.
That was the biggest gift they could have given me
That is so
because
true.
it gave me permission to know it's okay to have more than what your bills are. That
Yeah.
doesn't make you a bad person. Not that I thought people with money were bad. I just had never experienced that. You have to remember, I don't have anyone in my family telling me it's okay to have money in the bank. It's okay to have a savings account. It's okay to. I didn't have that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it was 5 years ago. That's the long way to get to your. But I
Yeah.
think I needed to add it the
Hmm.
context of some people would look at me 10 years ago. When my grandmother died 10 years ago, I got my first book deal. I was doing well, but up here I wasn't
Hmm.
ready. So I wasn't
Hmm.
reflecting in what I was doing. But 5 years ago, that all changed in 2019.
That is
I
so good. I'm glad
became a person that became okay with it.
that is good because that is something that needed to be said.
Yeah.
I think so. And even with what we both do, at first I didn't put a price on it.
Mm-hmm.
People saw what I did and I'm sure they see what you did, and
Mm-hmm.
exactly when you said the mom and pop,
Yeah.
$1 million with the mom and pop idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that this is your story, but in the beginning, not knowing how to price it, not knowing what to put on it, because you might, and I might be saying my own self and others that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to make them feel like they can afford you. But
Yeah.
then if you put your affordable price, you think that you're going to lose something.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned through this, and I've been doing this 17 years, is that people want what you have, but they're not putting your worth ahead of what you're doing. They're like, okay, I want you to do this and that, but I want to buy my weed for 300, but I like what you're doing, but I want to get it for 25. A
Yeah.
hypothetical.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I had to learn what my worth was,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to charge a certain price,
Yeah.
because I want them to be able to afford it. And I'm still kind of, not really, but still kind of doing it where we have new authors in, and then we're doing somewhere everybody could get in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so with saying that, what we're talking about now, what would you say to those people out there like yourself who want to be, because it seems like a content creator to me is the Hollywood of the world. What do you say about those that want to be a content creator, want the money, want the job, but don't want to do the work?
Yeah. Just stay at your job. That's what I would say. But and again, thank you so much, Stacy, for that. Stacy says that she needed to see this live. I'm glad it's speaking to you, Stacy. Stay at your job. So this is so I never, just like I never started off wanting to be a radio. I didn't want to be a content creator, influencer. That wasn't something. It's so interesting that people aspire to that. I fell into it. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. You know, when I first started getting the emails, I thought, why are they sending me these emails asking me about, because I'm like, what? Because it's just a part of what I do. I'm the type that's like you, Ellen. When I find out about something, I like to talk to people about it. I'll post about it. I'll do a video, or not even knowing that was a business model. I didn't even know that. So if you're doing it for that reason, I would say don't do it. Because people will see two things. One, the people who are supposed to be buying what you're talking about can tell what it is, what you're doing. And two, it will not be authentic to the brands, and they won't reach out to you. The reason why I think I've been able to have over 1,000 brand deals now at this point is that brands know I don't talk about things. I've turned down money for people who've offered me to do things that, one, don't fit me, or that I don't feel like are appropriate for me personally. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them, just not appropriate for me, right? And two, I'm going to give you an honest opinion. If I like something, just like with you, I can go on and on about something I like. If I don't like something, there's not enough money you can pay me to make me tell people, because I'm like, no, I don't, because I know my currency, my real currency is the trust of my audience. And if I lose the trust of my audience, I don't have a business. And that's why I say, if you're only doing it for the money, don't do it. Because the money won't come. That's the thing. Because the brands can tell, the audience can tell, so you're not going to be doing it. So you'll be doing it just to be doing it, because you're doing it without thinking about the audience. You're thinking about yourself.
Mhm. What do you say if, some people, they have about 5 jobs, literally
Mm-hmm.
5 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
If you have so many jobs, and I'm putting you on the spot, and I'm not saying it's in your wheelhouse or anything like that, but
Yeah.
some people do 5 jobs. To me, I can't do, I'm not you know how people say that they are, what do you call it, multitask. And I think the best thing to do is to finish what you're doing. So if
Yeah.
you're doing all this, that, you're going to love one and then the other. What do you say about those people who want to do 5 jobs and not even completing one?
That's a great question. I just want to say, Stacy says, yes, Cyrus is so honest. Don't ask if you don't want to tell the truth. I mean, that's
I
just the
love it.
reality, because I believe in helping people, Stacy. So I would never tell you what you want to hear if I don't truly believe it. If I tell you something, it's what I truly believe. That's why I tell people, don't ask me if you don't want me. It's like Ellen is asking the questions, so I'm going to answer the questions. Well, this is what I would say. The whole jack of all trades, master of none is real. And I have, because I'm also a business coach. And so when I'm coaching people, one thing that I say to them is, for one thing, make a list, plan. And then not only plan, but be able to check something off the list. To get to your point, if you're doing all these things and you're not being able to check anything off the list, then you have to ask yourself, are you really being busy? Or are you truly being productive? Because there's a lot of people in entrepreneurship that are busy, but they're not productive. I believe in being busy and productive. So that means for me, like I have a to-do list. I'm afraid to even show it to you. Like Thursdays are typically bad days. Yeah. I mean, it's literally a full legal pad all the way to the bottom. I had 15 interviews I had to do for different podcast shows that I'm on today. But guess what? I got all of them done but one because we had a tech issue and we weren't able to get one of them done. But my thing is, if it was something that I could not get done, I wouldn't say, oh, well, I just couldn't do it. I would move it on to the next day. So many people just say, oh, well, I wasn't able to do that. I'll move on to the next thing. You have to finish what you start because, again, it's about building trust. And if you can't be trusted to finish something, why should I do business with you? That's like me taking my car in to get my tires rotated, and you end up taking up my steering wheel because you thought because you thought my horn needed to be replaced. I mean, that's not what I came to you for. I came to you for the you know what I'm saying? And so my thing is to have that job, do that, and then you can move on and do something else.
That is so true. Prior to the internet as we know it, how did you reach out to your authors and how did they reach you prior to the existence of social media?
So let me tell you what's fun. Can I say what Rose says? Yes, making a list. Sometimes you can't do everything you have a passion for. Do less to do better. I totally agree with that, Rose. So let me tell you what's funny. And this is why I think I've been able to build a fan. Like I said, I had the in-person client I had to meet with today. I do the same things today I did back then. So I build relationships with businesses. You see me going to local business. I'm very big proponent of supporting local. So I'm literally driving through my neighborhood, looking for new stores and things that are opening up because I want to be able to go in, introduce myself to them, say, hey, I do this or that. If you're ever looking for someone to do something, if you want to have, a book event here to bring people into your coffee house, or that's how I got a relationship with Dunkin' Donuts. So for me, it was about building rapport with businesses. I used to print out flyers. I don't do that as much, but I do still do billboards. If a store has a billboard, I'm putting something up there. Mm-hmm. And also, I think we can't discount the importance of letting people know we're real, right? Because I think the internet, as good as it's been for me, and it's helped me grow my business globally, right? If the internet went out, I would still have a business because I built relationships with people. I email people. I'm involved in going out and meeting people. I'm on the road every other week. I'm back in Los Angeles next week for 4 days. So you have to be able to build that rapport. And I'll tell you the other key for me that I tell people, Ellen, you can't expect everyone to come to you. Because you know what? I had someone meet me at an event last week, and they said to me, I'm so sorry, I don't know who you are. And I said to myself, don't be sorry for that. I don't expect you to know. There's a lot of people out here. We can't believe our own hype. A lot of times we think that we have 5,000 followers on Facebook or 1,000 followers on Instagram that everybody knows. It doesn't surprise me when people say, I'm sorry, who are you? And, that's an opportunity to build a new follower, right? And so I tell people, don't believe your own hype. Don't think that everyone's supposed to know who you are, because I like the fact that I still get to meet new people. That's a brand new opportunity. And so that's what I did before the internet, Ellen, and that's what I keep doing now.
Awesome. Another thing too, I'm sure you've come across this as well, that everybody don't have to like you.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So how do you feel if everybody, about that statement that everybody don't have to like you
Yeah.
or
Well,
your business or come
yeah.
to your business. You know what I'm saying? Some people are upset. You know, I want you to come here
Mhm.
and they want to hold you to them. I always say there's Colgate, there's different kind of product.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold you to
Yeah.
me. You free.
Yeah. So let me say this. I am very much aware that not everyone likes me. For one thing, I'm rare in that I'm real. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not artificial. I'm not superficial. I'm not going to go along to get along. That's not my way. So I go into every situation, family included, knowing everyone's not going to like Cyrus Webb. The important thing is, can I be happy with Cyrus Webb?
Yeah.
Because if I can be happy with Cyrus Webb, and I know I'm coming from a good place, and I have a good product, the people who are supposed to find me will find me,
Mm-hmm.
and likewise, I will find those that I'm supposed to work with. I don't worry about no's, and I have to be honest, I don't get a lot of no's these days. For one thing, I say no more than I probably get a no, because I also realize I can't work with everybody. You
Oh,
know,
that's a
not
good one.
not
That's a
everyone's
good one.
meant for me. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, you're devaluing your brand if you try to become everything to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so for me, it's like I'm okay with that. That what I have is what I'm supposed to have, and as it grows, I'll go along with it. But I'm not one of those people trying to force things. I'm not trying to force people to like me because I know I'm not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So true.
I am. I've gotten too old, and and I'm content with the fact that I know what I have to offer. And let me also say this to entrepreneurs out there, Ellen: don't let other people try to devalue you
Yes.
because you know your worth. I
Mm-hmm.
know. I tell people all the time, you know, I know what Cyrus Webb is worth, literally and
So true.
figuratively. So whether you see that or not, it really doesn't matter because I know, you
That is
know,
so true.
and so I think a lot of times people let other people devalue them.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen with Cyrus Webb.
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus Webb don't let anyone devalue him because I know my value and my worth. And
Love it.
so
Love it. Love it.
when you know that, you don't worry so much
Mm-hmm.
about, oh well, this person worked with this. You celebrate other people. Oh wow, they found the person they're supposed to be with. That's how I look at it. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
I was auditioning for the Oprah Winfrey Network, Ellen, I I gave it my best. I made it the top five when Oprah started the network, and that's what started my relationship with the network, right?
Mm.
But I wasn't chosen. I made it to top 10, but I wasn't chosen to
Mm-hmm.
go on to the next round. I was okay with that. And when those that were chosen got their opportunity, I was happy for them. I reached out to them and said, "Can I interview you to talk
Mm-hmm.
about the experience?"
Mm-hmm.
Now, both of them gone on to do other things, but you know what that did? I could have went back and sulked and crossed my arms and said, you know, I would have been better for that. But still, 15 years later, I'm still working with the Oprah Winfrey Network. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. Awesome.
So it's like we have to be careful not to think because we don't get something that there's not something out there for us.
Love
And
it.
so for me, that's kind of just been my mantra.
Love it. There's some things I like what Stacy said. Look on there, and I see some things.
Um,
Um, she said to love your questions.
the 1-3 men money marriage says great guest. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Stacy says, yeah, love it. When you know, you know. Yes. And Wendy says they see you. Yeah, they see you now. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, you have to know you. Just like Wendy. Wendy's another great influencer.
Yes.
She's great at what she does. I was just saying to Stacy today. Stacy's a great interviewer. She's a great host on her show. I don't mind celebrating. Ellen, you're great at what you do. I've said that to you. You
Thank
know,
you.
I enjoy what, we have to get out of this thing thinking we're the only one. There were people
Exactly.
before me. There'll be people after me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I
Yes.
mean, I didn't begin this whole thing. So I don't, people don't owe me anything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm in my space. I'm in my lane. My responsibility is to stay there and to grow there. That's my
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. Not to try to be Ellen, not to try to be Stacy, not to try to be Wendy, or just to be the best Cyrus that I can be. Because again, like I mentioned, the audience can tell,
That's so
and
true.
so it's better to be authentic than to lose yourself and miss out.
That's so true. That segue to me, what I'm about to ask you now.
Yeah.
I can just see it from my side. Best, when I work with authors and I see that I have to tell them, and you probably, I don't know how yours work because I read the author's book. I get their synopsis first, and then I go from there. And if it fits, and then the audience or whoever I can pitch the book to get that audience. And then sometime in that process, they feel that I'm taking something from them. No, I'm not taking none. You're the product. And when I read your product, I'm not going to give it to readers if I don't believe it in myself, like you
Yeah.
said. And so one of the things is, I don't know if you're on that side like I am. If you get an author and then I don't know if they pitch their book with you. Let's start with how does that work to get your author to get their book to you or submit it to you? What is that process and how does that work?
Yeah. So typically the way it works is exactly what you said. If someone reaches out to me, the first thing I want to do is to find out what the book's about. And that's where the no from me typically happens. It's been a very rare case, Ellen, but there have been sometimes I started reading a book and think, you know what? Not that the book is bad. It's just not for me. And I then have to reach out to the author and say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be the right person for you. Because I, like you, like Stacy, I like to be able to have a conversation and to really get into things. And if I haven't enjoyed it, then I don't feel like I can do you the best service. You know what I'm saying? But I may recommend them for someone else, and say, you know what? You may want to try such and such. I think this may be good for them, right? And let me tell you one thing that I've had to learn, been my rule of thumb. I have changed. This is why I'm always careful about giving certain reviews to people. Like if I don't like a book, I typically don't write a bad review. But I'll tell you why I don't do it. Because I didn't realize, you know what? It may not be a bad book. It may just not be a book for me.
Exactly.
Like Dune, everyone's all excited about the movie Dune. I didn't enjoy the Dune books. Now, that doesn't mean they're bad books. They're bestsellers. You know what I'm saying? But they just weren't for me, And so that's what I've kind of been my rule of thumb now. Is like I may say, so I try to help the author by saying that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your book. I'm just saying I don't think I'm the audience for your book.
That is so true.
And so I think that's been my thing. Like, but if it's a book I like, sometimes if someone pitches me a book and they want to be able to, get one of my services, if I love the book, I tell them I do it for free because I'm excited to read the book and talk about it with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the process for me.
Yeah, that's awesome because it's so important that I believe when we're in relationship with authors, like you said, I like to build relationships.
Yeah.
And one of the things is to have the reader and the writer to meet, and then, like you say, with their book. You've seen me. I'm very passionate with someone's work. So when I read it, I would like to deep dive in there. And sometimes they don't even know I'm talking about their book. They're like, whose book is that? It's yours. You got to remember your own story because I'm passionate about what I read. And it's not just to get a book, to get it on the shelf. How important is it to let an author know that their book, their craft, their baby that they have, it is very important to put that baby out there, right? Because I've seen one time where a lady had a book and she had her title, and the title was not placed in the right area. Okay. And so now she couldn't find her book because the way her book was titled, it was in drama, but the book was about drama. I mean, like theater, and she couldn't get that out of that spot. So, and that's the same thing like with knowing your audience. Like you said, I don't do erotica. Some might be light in your window. I'm not going to tell the author what to write and stuff like that. Yeah. But if it's not for me, don't feel bad that it's not for me because I won't do you a just like you said. So how important is it for the author to know the audience and to know, about pitching their book in the right way?
Yeah, that is, and so that works. And so for those who don't know, I'm also an Amazon influencer and reviewer as well. So I'm one of Amazon's top 100 Amazon reviewers, and I'm one of their top 5 media hosts for their Amazon influencer side. And this falls in the Amazon side, and this is really going into knowing the mechanics of promoting your book and how to best promote your book and set up your book for success, Ellen, like to the point you're making. I think that's why the authors have to do their own research. And this is where I tell authors, do you have to hire someone? Not necessarily, not if you're going to do the work. But if you're not going to do the work, yes, you need to invest in someone to help.
Exactly.
Because a lot of these authors, they don't know. But the worst thing is they're not trying to know. And look, let me tell you something. Google University is real. You know,
Yes.
you know, if you want to know something, Google it. But a lot of these authors think they only are the writer, and that's why they lose. They could have a great book that you and I will never find out about because they don't know how to market it. They don't know how to make sure it's properly placed on Amazon so people can discover it. And then they're wondering, well, I wrote this book, you know, but nothing's happening with it. Not realizing, again, you can't expect people to come to you. You have to be able to find them where they are, right? So that's what I would say. Do your research. And don't be afraid to ask someone. It may cost you a few dollars, but hey, if it's going to position you to win, it's worth the investment.
Cyrus, this time it's going up so quick. My other, unless those people in there have some questions, but thank you so much. I am Stacy. She said she loved the questions, and this is a blessing not only to her, but to, you know, she's going to share it out. Thank you for that.
Right.
The thing about, now I forgot because I'm so excited to say it. And then I read that. But I was thinking about how, well, I just won't keep it too long. I had a good thought process about the authors.
Ellen, I have really enjoyed this. And let me publicly say this about Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents. I appreciate you. I value the services that you offer to authors, the services that you offer for readers. I want you to keep up the great work, keep being you, and just know that we value you and appreciate you and the services you offer.
Oh, thank you. And kudos back at you. I want you to know also every accolade, every glove you put on, boom, gloves off. I love that. And I just wait for that. And I'm so excited that every achievement that you do, I am super happy for you. And because that means to me that you have opened the literary door for not only just yourself and others, but those that are going behind you. And we know, for a long story short, with not holding you too long, is that back in the day, and when I mean back in the day, I mean 10, 17 to 10 years or more back, is that in my walk, I'll speak for me, that books used to just go on the shelf regardless to what's going on the shelf. Now this is making me remember who is responsible for selling your book, because I let people, the authors, know I can't sell your book. That's why I have these shows. That way they can hear the book and they'll know, oh, maybe I want that book. But I let them know right up that I can't sell your book. You have to sell your book, and you have to make your book work. You don't just put it on the shelf and walk away. So that's sort of the thing I want to know. What is the misconception of I wrote a book, it's on the shelf, now it's going to sell? That's my question.
That's not understanding the business of books. That's not understanding. And really, Ellen, the mistake people make, they don't realize. And this is, I'm very passionate about this topic because I've had the privilege of working with self-published authors and New York Times bestsellers just like you. And one thing if they really watch, the reason why books are successful is they understand the importance of pre-promotion. They understand the importance of letting people know what the book is about, teasing them before the release. Because a lot of people think it's all about the release day. Think about the movie Wicked. We've been hearing about Wicked since February, since the Super Bowl. Since that first 15-second commercial. Now, it's one of the biggest movies of the year. That didn't happen. And that didn't happen overnight. It happened because people were talking about it. They were sharing about it. They were tweeting about it. They were telling their friends about it. That's how people should be about your book. If it's not something you want to talk about, why should we care? If you're not going to be excited enough about your book to say, y'all, I have to come on live and tell y'all about this book I have coming out. I poured so much. If you're not doing that, why should I care about the book once it comes out? So that's what I would say. You have to be passionate enough about your book that you understand the work begins way before the publication date.
Yes.
And it continues afterwards because you have to continue to ride that wave as well. So don't neglect the business of books and the importance.
Fact.
Yeah. Hmm?
Could you say that again? The last thing you said.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah. No
importance of
problem.
book.
I was just saying, don't neglect the business of books and the importance of getting it out there because that's what's going to help the longevity of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cyrus, I can keep you all day, but this is one that I must reflect on,
Okay.
and then we're gonna go because
Okay.
I didn't know, and this probably put you in a hot seat as well. I didn't know about Black authors. I knew about publishing, and all I knew was about white writers, and I love them all.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really see the work until of Black writers until I started seeing them, putting it outside of their selling it from their cars and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I often wonder, and this is why I say this will put you on the spot. I often wonder, how do white writers seems as though they don't go from ground and selling it from their cars and stuff like that. And then I heard from someone, and I don't know if it's the gospel, but it makes sense, is that they have publicists, they have all these things to back them up that maybe a person of color may not have out the gate.
I disagree. So let me tell you what's been my experience. Okay, I can only speak from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I tell people, in some ways I come from a place of privilege. I understand that now. But I have worked with white authors that are self-published that were selling it out of their car.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you the difference. And people will not want to hear this, so this will be an ouch moment more so than an amen for some people.
Okay.
It is harder for some Blacks to support Blacks until they make it.
You better say it.
And I've experienced that personally. I live in Mississippi. 70%, I can put a percentage on it. 70% of those who supported me in the beginning were white. When I started getting attention, then the Blacks came to me and said, oh, we want to be a part of this. And what I have learned, and again, that's why I said it's going to be an ouch for some people, because it's just the real. I've experienced this. This isn't something someone told me. I've experienced this personally. When I got into radio, I had Blacks coming up to me and saying, what makes you think you're qualified to do this? You haven't been to college. When I wanted to do art shows, I had Blacks telling me, you don't have a degree. What makes you think you can I had whites that were eager to help me because they saw my talent, not my color. And I think so many times what happens, and again, it's unfortunate, but it is real. We don't want to be a part of the come up. We want to be a part of the success.
That is so true.
And I can say again from experience, I have not seen that as much from the white counterpart. They have individuals who want to see them win. The same with my Asian American friends, with my Indian friends. But unfortunately, people who look like me were not there for me in the beginning. They were not. And if I'm truly honest, the majority of my business today is not people who look like me. So it is people like me that ask me, well, why is it this much? Or you don't have anything cheaper? I don't get that from my white clients.
Facts.
And again, this is an ouch. But it is the truth. It is my truth. I've lived it. I've had people who say, well, Cyrus, you know me. I'm like, okay, yeah, but what's the point? Do you go on Walmart and say, oh, Charlie, you know me. Can I get a discount on that?
Exactly.
No, that's not the way this works, But we, unfortunately, for whatever reason, I can't speak of why. That's not my expertise, but that's been my experience. So to your question, I think we don't want to admit that we are part of our own problem.
So true. So true.
Because we don't want to. And then the other thing I have again experienced, myself, when we see other people jump on the bandwagon, then we want to be a part of the movement. But as far as being on the front line in the beginning, that's not something that a lot of us are willing to do unless there's something in it for us.
You know what? That's why I like Ground Zero
Mm-hmm.
with authors. And I really mean that. I see an author, and Wendy know if she's still there.
Mm-hmm.
If I see an author with a book in the hand and I'll tell them, hey, come and have a show with me.
Yeah.
Put your book out there and stuff like that. And then you'll just, you want them to just see it
Yeah.
rather than just one person buy a book and pass it around. And so we're going to end it with that.
Yeah.
One person buy a book and pass that book around, but no one's buying it individually.
Stacey says, I was just about to say that on as Walmart. And but look, and again, some people aren't going to like this, but the truth is the truth. This is me. This is not something I've heard, Ellen. I experienced this personally when I got into radio. And again, was offered an opportunity. I didn't go to college. I didn't go to broadcasting, and and people were like, who is this guy? And they were people who looked like me. They weren't saying, hey, let me help you. Let me see, if you have any questions, reach out. Nope, didn't experience that. But you know what? When I interviewed MC Light, they come calling me, hey, can I get MC Light's number? Nope. I mean, this is, but see, that's the thing. That's the mentality.
Yeah.
And that is the unfortunate thing. I'm like you. I'm gutter. I'm from Mississippi. I mean, look, I don't mind starting at the bottom. I've been there.
Yes.
So I haven't gotten to a place where I think I can't go out there and sell something, you know what I'm saying, on a corner or something legally. Let me clarify. Because not everything sold on the corner is legal. So let me stop. Let me clarify.
Oh my goodness.
To sell legal products on the corner.
Shane, we have to go there, but I got
you. That I'm not above that. But some people think, oh no, I can't do the thing. You're not even trying to make it there. Because not everyone starts in the store. My first books, I was stapling together at Office Depot.
Wow, that's a long time ago, Cyrus.
But see, that's my point. I wasn't afraid to do that, to say, oh, I got to wait till I get a book deal. No. I made over $25,000 in 2004 with books I stapled together at Office Depot.
Wow.
That's what helped me to quit my job. I probably should have told that part of the story earlier.
It's out there. It's out there.
But that's the point. I wasn't one of those people who said, oh, I can't try to sell this. I was there stapling. Look, when it did come out straight, I was straightening them, gonna take them individually, straighten them.
I love it.
I mean, you have to be hungry for it, And so I've always been that person.
Let me tell you something that is amazing, and she may hear this too. This is a New York Times bestseller. I'm going to tell her myself, and this is something that is very hurtful but helpful.
Yeah.
I did not know. Remember, I started off working with New York Times bestsellers, award winning. I didn't start off with indie.
Yeah.
So I had Victoria Christopher Murray here in Newport News, Virginia. And so the person had already told me, you need a bookseller. I'm thinking, okay, right? I'm not ashamed to tell this about myself because this was hurtful but helpful.
Yeah.
So here I have her at my event, and I don't have the books because I think she bring the books because I've had some that would bring their own books, even though they were New York Times bestsellers or whatever. So I had to correct myself because I didn't realize, here's Ellen, I'm just going to say this small, having someone so big. And so I corrected it. So I went on to Barnes and Nobles or one of our bookstores and told them, hey, I got Victoria Christopher. Oh, you do? You could have called us earlier and we would have, gave you the books, but you have to pay for them. And whatever's not sold, then you bring it back. Because what happens is those books from that profit goes to you. She just show up. So I'm not ashamed to say that. So if anybody encountered that, know that you need a bookseller. So, I had to learn that. And I'm not ashamed to say that, but I had to tell you that. I had to expose the cleansing to tell the truth. And so know what you got, and that is the worth, know what you got. So this has been exciting. Cyrus, you got some questions there or somebody's?
Zim says, believing in yourself is a must. So true. Young Heaven, hello to you. Thanks a lot for watching. And Stacey says that she's an hour from you, Ellen.
She's all from Newport News, Virginia?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. So
Yeah.
she's in Richmond?
I'm not sure. Stacey, are you in Richmond? But this has been great, Ellen. I've had a great time. I appreciate you inviting me into your home.
You are so welcome. We did good. Yeah. We stayed on.
I can only speak for myself. I don't speak for other people. I said this in this whole conversation. I can only speak for me. I was good.
Well, you rewind the tape.
Decide if you were good.
We will rewind the tape, but just like on the top 20, and I'm looking forward to do it for 25, not to speed the year alone. I really enjoyed that with you.
Yeah.
But I don't know where that third tape is, and if you could produce that. You said that I was on 3 times. I do remember that I did something where I had Ro on and another character. We showed their books.
Oh, yeah, I remember character. That.
But, but I don't know if that was titled Top 20.
Got you. Okay. I have to go back and check.
Yeah, see what you titled.
She's in Prince George. She said, but she visits her father-in-law there.
Prince George.
Yeah.
I think that's 3 hours. I'm in Newport News, Virginia. Okay, anyway. Okay, we're close. We're close, some kind of a way. Yes. Thank you so much for being here, Cyrus.
More than welcome. Thank you again, and keep up the great work. Ellen, really appreciate it.
You too, and thank you for all of this. I didn't dig into your whole life, but just a little bit. Oh, hello to Mississippi, where you are, and you have an amazing night. Thank you for coming.
More than welcome. Take care.
All right. Bye. All right. Bye-bye. Woo. Cyrus was good, y'all. I tried to say it while he was still there, but thank you guys for being here. Stacey, thank you for what you said. Thank you for that compliment. You said your questions, Ellen, and this will be not only for you, but to share. Thank you so much. Wendy, thank you for being here. 313, Money and Marriage. And guys, before you go, I just want to show you this. I don't want to keep it too long. Cyrus, I really thank you for coming here, talking about our truth. But here it is, right here. Stay tuned if you guys are able to come back. We're going to talk to Suzette Perkin. This is her book titled Black Diamond. This is the second book to Fallen Leaves. Let me put it up a little slower because I'll be like, don't show that book so fast. But this is here. You'll see the character Gypsy and her 2 kids, Lemon and Amina. I probably said her name wrong, but I am so sorry. And then also we'll have another person too, April Thomas. This is her book, Toxic, the Double Cross. This is her book here, and she'll be coming on with us. So you guys have an amazing night. Thank you for watching. Do share, swipe, and share. Have an amazing night. Bye-bye.